Okay, first ride with the EBOX Dragster. All right, so I'm really excited to show you guys what we just got in from EBOX Electric. Now, some of you have probably heard about this company. They make the EBOX 1 and the EBOX 2. So I saw this thing on Instagram and I was like, what is that thing? It was tiny. It just looked like a box basically. Came in 2 boxes, so this is the Dragster box. It's really kind of small. Not as big as I thought it would be, but it's also rather heavy, and I think about 117 pounds. And the second box is their wheelie bar. So they actually have this wheelie bar that you can attach to the Dragster that supposedly is meant to help you learn to wheelie, I guess. We'll see. I really haven't seen anything about the wheelie bar. I think some people are like skeptical or whatever, but I don't know. Seems pretty fun. Anyway, enough talking. Let's unbox it and cut to a montage right now. EBOX has a really good installation video on their YouTube about the Dragster, so I'm not going to go into crazy detail, but you definitely need a bike stand when you do the install. That'll be really helpful. And here are all the parts, some hardware, charger, these are the wheels, and this is the wheelie bar. Here we go, let's do it. Okay guys, this is the EBOX Dragster electric mini bike. This thing looks really tiny, but it packs like a lot of power for its size. On first glance, you'll notice that it is a powder-coated steel frame. I think it was like 117 pounds delivered. So yeah, that's pretty heavy for something this size, but it does mean that it's super durable. You'll also notice that we have a rigid fork over here. So no front suspension, but you do have these big fat tires. Now these are 6-inch wheels, but the tires are, I guess, you know, traditional mini bike tires. It's a 145/70 CST tire, and you can see how wide it is with the knobby tires. So it's great for off-road, but obviously you could ride it on the street. There's a lot of graphics on this thing. You know, you have the Dragster logo over here, you have 818, the EBOX logo on the battery itself, the 818 number plate, some stickers back here that show the towing mounts. So installation wasn't too hard, but there were definitely a lot of steps to put this thing together. And since it was pretty heavy, we had to break out the bike stand. So I don't know, if you had a second person, it'll probably go a little bit faster, but it's pretty straightforward. Now in terms of power, this is a 2,000 kilowatt rated, 3,000 kilowatt peak mid-drive motor. It does have an integrated chain tensioner on the bottom, and we have to flip the bike upside down to tension the chain. And the battery is a 60 volt, 18.2 amp hour removable battery. It also has these quick release latches over here. Basically you open these up and then the battery can slide down. 18.2 amp hours will probably give you something like 20 to 25 miles of total range. So maybe you'll be able to get a second battery. I don't see an option on the website, but I did reach out to them. So all the cabling is routed under here, and we did remove the motor cutoff sensors on the left and right brakes. You have this giant fuse right here connected to the battery, and then under the seat over here is where the controller is located. Now the seat is nice and comfortable. You could definitely probably wrap this up with something if you wanted to. It's pretty basic. Got a right hand full twist throttle over here. This is also the kill switch. That's pretty much it for the bars. Your dashboard is basically right over here. So here's the phone juice, which are ports for USB-A and USB-C connectors. And then here's the ignition, and over here is the aggression control knob. And this is my favorite part, these analog knobs over here. So aggression basically controls the throttle response, and then the max speed controls the top speed. You can adjust this like while you're riding, literally while you're riding. Basically, depending on the situation, you could just, increase your speed or lower it. If you're trying to stunt or whatever, having these things right here is super convenient. And then you also have your power display right here. And that's really all you need. I love how simplistic this setup is. Now you do have two options for the foot peg position. So this is sport mode for basically, drag racing or standing up and riding, stuff like that. And then there's another option where you could attach the pegs to this side of the frame, and that's called comfort mode. And basically that's people who are just trying to cruise. So that's pretty cool. I have it in sport mode right now. And the brakes are pretty basic. They're dual hydraulic disc brakes. And yeah, these can be easily upgraded if you wanted to, but I think they're fine for the weight of this bike. Other accessories that I added are this rear taillight from Shred Lights, which is pretty bright. It's kind of small, but it's pretty bright at night. And then this headlight that I found on Amazon. It's kind of hard to see. It probably looks like it's flashing right now on the camera, but it is solid. But it's super bright. And the main accessory that they're promoting with the Dragster is this wheelie bar. So I think in traditional mini bikes, the wheelie bar is really long for drag racing. And I think this is meant for learning how to balance, learning how to find balance point. I think it's pretty cool. It's really unique in this e-bike space. Obviously we've had our bikes on wheelie trainers, but we've never had a bike with an actual wheelie bar on it that has these adjusting points over here. So depending on your skill level, your size, what you're comfortable with, you can raise or lower this, and then eventually remove it once you find your balance point and you feel comfortable learning how to modulate the throttle and the brake. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I'll try to demonstrate it as best as I can, and we'll probably have Sully test ride this thing at some point and get his thoughts. He's a stunt rider and he learned from riding the Razor, so he's really used to these mini bikes. And that's really it. I don't know if we're gonna do a bunch of mods with this thing. I think it is what it is. Definitely wanting to increase the amp hours is going to be key, because I do want to take this on a long ride. I think this would be fun on a mega ride, to be honest. I'm really excited about this thing. So let's take the Dragster out for its first ride. Okay, first ride with the EBOX Dragster, tiny bike. Let's just see how it goes. So we have these analog dials for the throttle ramp and for the top speed. And so we'll put these down. We also have the wheelie bar back here. And the wheelie bar is actually on its highest setting. So I don't know if this is actually going to be too high for us. I think it might be perfect for how far we need to bring this back to reach balance point. We'll just take it slow here. Bump that up a little bit. Whoa! Okay, very torquey. Massive amounts of torque. You really want to put your body down on the front as you hit top speed. Yeah, this is super fun. It's just, you gotta know how to position your body though, because this thing just kind of has so much torque. All right, let's dial it down a little bit. I love that I can just adjust the settings on the fly here. And let's see if we can use this wheelie bar. Okay. I think I'm Yeah. In terms of like, you know, if you're learning how to wheelie like me, this might actually be helpful for you because you can kind of just practice your throttling and your brake control. I'm not fully comfortable wheeling on this thing, but it's definitely doable for sure. It's better than like getting the big wheelie machine out and, you know, having to attach it to it. First impressions are this thing has a lot of power and you just have to be ready for it. I feel like as you're riding, you're probably going to be changing these settings like on the fly. The aggression, I don't know how much aggression I would want to put. It's pretty aggressive. But, you know, as you get used to it, it's probably good that you can change it up like this. The only thing is, you know, these are dials. So I don't know what percentage I'm turning this to, you know, if it's like, oh, I like 10% throttle ramp and 50% top speed. I can't really tell. There is like a marker here, but I don't know. I don't think I'm actually looking at it. I'm just trying to feel it out. But it's cool that you can do that. This is a good platform to learn how to wheelie. The battery might be a little low if you're trying to take it on a mega ride or something like that. But yeah, the big fat tires and everything else about it feels like a, you know, like a mini Super 73 with a mid-drive motor, I guess, and pegs, or like any other traditional mini bike, like a Coleman mini bike or something like that, but it's electric. But yeah, it's super fun. I think the coolest feature is that this thing has a wheelie bar accessory. I don't think I've seen any other like electric bikes with this accessory specifically. Obviously, you've seen our videos with the wheelie machine, but that's a big cumbersome piece of equipment, and you have to like lug it around and drive it around. This just attaches to the bike, so you know, I don't think it'll teach you how to wheelie necessarily, but at least you could get the bike up and, you know, and you won't like loop out.
The EBOX Dragster. I've never heard of it. I don't know anything about it. This is my first time seeing it. It looks fun, you know. I don't really know what I'm in for. I don't know if it's powerful. I know nothing about this. I see some interesting stuff going on here. So phone power, great, and then max speed and aggression. So that's interesting. I've never seen like dials running these different settings before. So kind of neat. We'll see how it plays out once I ride it, but it's small. I'm a small guy and it's tiny. I don't have any experience with other mini bikes of this size, really. Like I've ridden Razors. It's got some kick. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm on the lowest max speed, lowest aggression, and I would put anybody on this. Great grandma could ride this thing without dying. This is just fine. All right, well, we'll just go crank it up to the max speed. Oh, I'm still on the lowest aggression. It's still aggressive. Oh, it's pulling the front wheel up. Okay, brakes work good. That is a good thing. Oh my goodness. Oh. Yeah. All right. Okay, so it's super touchy. I'm gonna turn down the max speed, turn up that seemed really aggressive, like aggression all the way. Oh, I had aggression all the way up. Okay. Holy. Okay, no, I didn't. Okay. So max speed and minimum aggression, it's actually pretty blippy still. Like, I guess from right out of the gate, it's pretty blippy, but once you get going. Okay, so I'm gonna turn up the aggression a little bit, which almost killed me a second. Holy smokes. I gotta put my helmet on for this thing. Oh, geez. All right, we'll just go full aggression, full speed. Nearly unrideable. Yeah, okay. Max speed, max aggression. What about a little lower speed, full aggression? Okay, that's fine. Holy God. Just power wheelies. That's pretty absurd. This aggression is aggressive. So yeah, this thing is geared for torque, no doubt. I spent 5 minutes on it, nearly died a couple times. Ton of fun, absolute torque monster. As far as like aggressiveness and playfulness, like, yeah, it's there. People upgrade their razors and turn them into thousands and thousands of dollars to get this kind of power out of the box solution. Not a bad deal. I think this will be a really good platform to learn wheelies on. Just because you can dial in that speed and aggression. You're so close to the ground, the balance point is going to be more comfortable or like easier to learn on, I think. So I'm excited to try and learn more on this.
The next day I started to use the wheelie bar in the backyard, and so just trying to get comfortable with balance point and really just trying to shift my weight to balance out the front of the bike. And so what's cool about the wheelie bar is obviously you won't loop, but you know, if you're comfortable with going beyond it just a little bit, it kind of gets in the way. It's a little distracting when you're trying to learn balance point because you can see it's hitting the ground and it's kind of like pushing you forward. I kind of got comfortable with it pretty quick. If you're like a beginner and you're just, you know, have to really build that confidence, then I think it's helpful. Anyway, I decided to take the wheelie bar off, and once I removed it and I wasn't hitting the wheelie bar on the ground, I felt comfortable with balance point. So I was going just a little bit beyond where the wheelie bar was hitting the ground, and I think that's all I needed to really kind of figure out, you know, throttle and brake control at the same time. But the bike is so small that you could just stand up and the bike won't loop out, you know. But you definitely want to get comfortable with doing this at its lowest settings, and really practice popping the bike up. Because you can dial in the settings, it's really easy to practice, like here, you know, in my backyard. And so yeah, that was a lot of fun. And this was basically probably like the second day. So if you do this for like 20 minutes a day, I think you'll get really comfortable with the bike. I think it's actually a pretty good core workout because you're trying to lean your body back and balance out the weight of the bike. But I did learn that, you know, try not to be stiff on the bike. You just sort of want to guide the bike and let the bike do all the work, and really just like look forward or look in the direction that you want to go, and you'll just sort of go. Whenever I was like looking down at the bars or at the wheel, it just becomes distracting and you lose the balance. But yeah, this is me just sort of like at the end of the day, just getting more comfortable with it and trying to see how long I could keep the wheel up. Okay, final thoughts with the EBOX Dragster mini bike. Yeah, this thing is a lot of fun. I thought, you know, maybe the wheelie bar was going to help me learn how to wheelie, but actually I found it kind of a little bit distracting, so I took it off and I was able to actually practice a little bit easier without it on. I think this is good if you're drag racing and you don't want the bike to loop. The bike is small enough that if you do loop out, you can just like stand up. So I kind of showed you guys in that little montage. That's pretty much what I did. And yeah, finding balance point is really easy because the bike is so small. So it's really just kind of getting used to the throttle and the speed tune and your body weight and your positioning and stuff like that. And it's really cool to have these controls over here so you can kind of dial in as you're practicing. And with the big knobby tires, it was really easy to practice on the grass. All of those are pluses, you know, if you're just trying to learn how to wheelie. I kind of wish I learned how to wheelie on this thing instead of the Sur-Ron. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I definitely only really practiced with it today. And I feel like I made, you know, some progress in terms of like balance and throttle control and brake control. So yeah, so, you know, the wheelie bar at full settings, full aggression, full speed, the front will lift up. There's tons of torque. So if you want to kind of prevent that, this is perfect for that. But if you're just trying to do like, you know, wheelie control, like slow balance control, probably don't need it. I did get some brackets to maybe like push these out a little bit further out, like almost like extension brackets, so that this thing might be able to sit up a little bit higher. Because the problem is that it's sort of like exactly at balance point on the highest setting. And so it always kind of like hit the ground before I could get comfortable. And once it hits the ground, I'm sort of like knocked out of balance. And I don't know, it was cool to kind of like wheelie with it on, but I felt like I was relying too much on the wheels and not really getting used to the throttle control. Other than that, oh yeah, I did move these pegs to comfort mode. And yeah, once I moved these out a little bit more, I found it easier to balance because I felt like the pegs positioned over here was kind of interfering with my legs and my leg placement. I kind of like this area here to kind of dangle my legs off of and drag my feet. And yeah, so moving it here is ideal. I really look forward to practicing with this thing over the summer and be able to kind of do it in my backyard or on the street and not feeling like super obnoxious because it's so small. Is really good. Now, we also brought this on a group ride the other day, and I think it lasted maybe like 22 miles, 23 miles-ish. So it's probably not ideal for like long group rides because, you know, I was riding with Sur-Rons and Talarias. And so you're just like outputting way more energy because of the size of the wheels. And so to keep up with them, you know, I was basically pinning down the throttle the whole time. So not a ton of range, unfortunately. Unless, you know, you get a bigger battery or you have another battery on hand. But even then, I don't even know where you would place the extra battery. But you could probably get something custom made because there's tons of room over here. So that might be a future mod that we do. I think for now, this is just like a nice bike to just, you know, play around with in the backyard and just to practice. Something that's just small, you know, easy to store, but still has a ton of power when I need it. Hopefully this video answered all of your questions about the Dragster. You know, not sure. We'll probably see some more videos about it soon. Definitely some stunt riders are going to be using this thing. We'll try to get Sully stunts on it on the next video, see how he likes it. If you guys have any questions about the EBOX Dragster, definitely leave your comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video.